The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 30th and final day of June 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sherry, welcome back.
Hi, Jamal. I haven't been on air for a few days, but I've definitely been watching.
Why you say it like that? Somebody say something about you?
Oh, you had plenty of say, plenty of cheating, giving people extra time and answers.
Who did I give extra answers and time to?
Well, Maya got 2 questions because she was like, hey, that's too easy. Give her another one. Then you gave Sancha a hint the other day. Actually, I think it was you.
I slipped.
It's always a slip, Jamal. It's always a slip. But nevertheless, I'm doing quite fine. I've missed my TDH audience, and that's about it.
Yeah, I love to hear. Sister Sherry, love to hear.
The hair was done last week during my birthday. Like it's like 3 weeks old now. But thanks. I appreciate it. Everybody else in the audience kind of recognized it and said stuff to me 2 weeks ago. But I appreciate it, Jamal, and happy Friday to you. Wow. You know, I saw a post that I was going to send to you about a man who got a surgery. He was 5'5". He wanted to get taller to 6 feet, and he did this surgery. I meant to send it to you, but I forgot.
Why were you going to send it to me? I'm 6'2". So why were you going to send it to me? I don't need it. And these digs. You're coming in. Look, you know what that is? That's a sign that you missed me so much that you've been, just holding out all these digs against me. But you know what? It's all good. It's the sharing. It's all good. Good morning to you, Mark T. Phillips. He says, before you do anything, smash the like button. Folks, just make sure you smash the like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you join our official channel. Don't forget, Restaurant Crawl is coming up a month today, I believe. Yeah, a month today, I think. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Happy Friday, Jamal and Sherry. Enjoy your weekend. Love you, Sherry. And Karen Simmons. Happy Friday, everyone. And congrats to Aunt Karen. I believe she had a graduate or 2 in the family.
Yes, my godson. Yeah. Actually, it's her nephew. So yes, congratulations. And Jamal, happy anniversary to Mama P and Papa P.
We got anniversaries around here. How many years?
Yes. 30 something. 89. They were married in 89, I believe. Yeah.
My goodness. That's a good 30.
She's a good one. She's a good one.
Yeah, Papa P, you got a catch there, boy. All right, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. And a good one today as we welcome Eugene Dean on from Greenrock. We're discussing energy efficiency. And you know what stands out to me about this is there's this big thing in the U.S. about affirmative action yesterday. And it kind of helps you realize who has access to what and who doesn't. But interested in this conversation for many reasons. To understand energy efficiency, but who's most likely to benefit from cost-saving measures? The people who need it or the people who have the funds? Think about that. The Daily Play is a name that play. No, it's a things you should know. Things you should know today.
And
should know. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. And just like that, folks, you heard what I said just about 2 minutes ago. it is June 30th, the final date of the 6th month of the year. What that means is when the clock hits midnight, we are 6 months over. Half of the year, as far as months, is done. Over. That's it.
I thought you was gonna be like, we're into full cup match mode. I was like, yep, July 1st,
That's
we are into
no, that's, I'm not. I've been good not mentioning people, the red and blue people this year. I'm not taking the bait a day early. That starts tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna wear red and blue today, and I was like, you know what? I'll wait till next week.
There was a policy that is being instituted on the Daily Hour that no red allowed for the month of July. So I didn't come up with the policy, but there's no policy, a new policy coming up. Karen Simmons says, nephew and niece from Berkeley, goddaughter from Munson Agnes, and godson today from Cedar Bridge Academy. Man,
wow.
Charles was right. The graduation for Cedar Bridge is today, because I was like, they're pushing it kind of close to July now.
Yeah.
Close. Thank you for showing up early, telling your achievements, enjoy this. But let's get into this conversation, folks. Half the year down. What can we learn from the first half of 2023? What can we learn from the first half of 2023? What are some of your biggest takeaways? What are some things that we did great at? Some things that we fell short at? Some things that we can improve on? Can I go first, Sherry?
Sure. Absolutely.
One thing that stands out for me, one of the things that a takeaway is, and I hate to continue using this, and I don't do it for likes or followers, but I think because it was such a high profile person, I keep coming back to Marco Warren. And one of the lessons in it all is, in such a small community, we are so secretive about the wrong things.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought that we'd be this far along and have absolutely made no progress, at least in the public side, because, police do their work, and sometimes we don't know, they may be putting something together. But I think one of my takeaways is we've really, I think Sanchez said it the other day, become numb to it, per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we saw that coming through, the various shootings and murders over the years. But I feel like we've become numb to the idea of loss of life. And I want to say, my hope for the second half of the year is that we can show more empathy. We can be, more community focused, and really help our neighbors and our friends and our family out a bit more. On the positive side, one of the things that stands out most to me, Athene doing the first ever Life Career Expo, and also Bacardi. I really love what they did with their program, getting people trained to become bartenders. Those are two things that really stand out for me from a positive standpoint. There's so much more. I mean, we just asked, before we came on air, have there been any murders in Bermuda? And I believe there's been 2 murders this year. And let's keep it that way. We don't need any more loss of life through people acting angry or reacting or anything. But I think the saddest part, and Maya has been on this through her news breaks, is halfway through the year, we are almost at the total number of road fatalities that we had in the entirety of 2022. So those are some things that stand out. What can we learn from it? Go slower on the roads, be respectful, considerate, and courteous. That's a huge lesson. What are your thoughts, Jerry?
Excuse me. When you said that we haven't had any murders we've only had 2, right? But I feel like road fatalities has taken over and has given us actually a new way of harming ourselves, or a death. So for me, road fatalities is definitely something that stands out. It's very sad, and it's very hurtful that these things are happening to mostly young men, and I believe Black men at that. So road fatalities definitely stands out, and I just want people to slow down, take the time, and not have to deal with or get that adrenaline rush that they must see. Also, I'm going to mention it, Jamal, politics. Like, that just seems like a basket full of mess that continues to go on. And from what Gen come to, was it South P, which probably is the same thing, and then you got the education system and stuff. Our economy is just in need of some love, some great energy, um, and so forth. And I would love to see Bermuda get back to what it used to be.
I know.
Let's throw the tourism. Um, well, Jamal, like at least,
I see your point. I think
at least the energy and the buzz that we used to have. It's just like the Hamilton's like a ghost town, like, or just everyone seems empty, you
yeah.
know. And I could only imagine if I'm feeling that in Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
what it must really feel like in Bermuda, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I look at. As
Mm-hmm.
far as positives, if there's no specific positive, but I love what our youth are doing. When especially when you talk about Bermuda Youth Connect, and there have been some really great positive things in 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 Bermuda about our young youth right now, whether it be in sports or education and so forth. So I like to see that
Oh,
is getting better.
you just made me think, and I believe it was this year. Maya, correct us if I'm wrong. Dej Minus breaking the record earlier this year.
Yes.
That's a positive, and I really wanted to see Dej run Bermuda Day, but he was injured. But that's another positive. And when you asked the question, what can we learn? Dej Minus went under 4 minutes in the mile. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
For years, Bermudians have been trying to do that down Front Street, so that's a big thing. Folks, what are your thoughts? What can we learn from the first half of the year? Charles H. Jeffs II, he says, happy work on Fairmount Southampton beginning day. That's right. It's second quarter of the fiscal year when it will begin. Well, he's throwing shots, but
The shade, Charles.
but here's the thing. What can we learn from that? I mean, let's be honest. If you and Maya's gonna be really annoyed with me doing this, but I found this way to find certain info, and all you have to do, folks, is just go through Media Maya's social media, and you can find whatever you want. I swear, when it comes to politicians saying stuff, right? It's not, and they can't say that she's being biased because she's literally just reporting the news on today, and then months from now, you say, "Oh, well, you said this right here," whatever. All that to say, if you go back and look at some of her reports, you kind of see how things. Now, let's remember last year there was a leadership battle for Bermuda within the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party between the Premier David Burt and the former Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Burt said in this video that the agreement has basically been made, an MOU was signed or something to that effect. But you all don't remember that I said in September last year, I said it on this show, and it was a clip of it circulating, when I said, do not be surprised if the Premier David Burt announces that the deal's done. Remember I said that, and then so done in terms of him saying that. I'm not a genius, and I'm definitely not the smartest guy in the room. But folks, that's the problem. You don't have to be smart or a genius to see through this. The politics is shameful, and it's right there for you to see. So things I can learn is we're not holding people accountable enough. These 800 jobs and like we're not holding them accountable. When Charles is giving you out, he's saying, well, maybe they meant the second quarter of this the government's fiscal year, which the first quarter starts on April 1st, right? Second quarter starts July 1st. So are we holding them accountable enough if you want to go to a politics space? Again, what can we learn? Sean DeShield says Bermuda Special Olympics team's accomplishments. Absolutely. Yes. And what can we learn is we probably need to get a better understanding of these rules that are in place. I still don't like what happened to Kamari Adil, but I will say that he could be the catalyst for the change that's needed, right?
Absolutely.
Change that's needed. Traveling Trotty says Harbor Nights was full on Wednesday, the first time I have been in years. So that's a plus.
Nice.
So what can we learn from the first half of 2023, folks? What are some lessons we can take for the second half of the year? What are things that, again, we've had the good, the Dage Miners, we've had the Bacardis, the Athenes, we've had the Special Olympians recently. Maya's been announcing what the CAC games and the medals we're winning there. Like, what are we taking into the second half of the year with us? We lost Brother Adi. Probably what I would say is how to keep their legacy alive. I mean, the best way to keep their legacy alive is to continue fighting the good fight. It's not over. Stop acting like we've accomplished something when, there's still no Black-owned grocery store, Black-owned bank. There's still no Black reinsurance company. How could we say that, we are in a better space when, well, we're not opening our own doors for one another, right? So,
And assisting each other to move forward.
absolutely. So there's a lot of lessons. We still seek validation in the wrong places. I often make this comment on this show. We were talking about what advice would we give 2023 high school and college graduates yesterday, right, Sherry? And I said, develop the right relationships. And I always use the term right relationships because I feel like in Bermuda, we believe that developing relationships is enough. I'll tell you what, business owners and CEOs can do much more for you than politicians. Believe that. Develop the right relationships. There are a lot of lessons. Let's look at the police and fire situation. The police are still looking for some new people. We're very quick to go on these lists and complain about things and customer service, police, this, that, and the other. What are we doing to help this situation? Is anyone out there offering to educate people in customer service? Do you have the skills to do it, to teach them, to become better? With the police, are we doing our part with the policing and giving the information to make Bermuda the community that we all want? Like, are we focused? I mean, Maya's spoken about this probably months ago. The CCTV, I think I did an extra C, but you get my point. The CCTVs, like, every time we're finding out that they're not updated and they need this, they need that. Grocery prices, are they up or down? As far as I know, inflation was up 4-point-something% as of March. There are a lot of lessons to take from the first quarter. So what are we going to take, saying first quarter, from the first half of 2023? What are we going to take to make our lives and our community better in the second half?
Absolutely, Jamal. And we have to take it seriously because the second half is here. And if we don't, then we'll be saying in January, what did we learn from 2023? We'll get the same list.
No, and it's real. It's real. Like, I mean, simple things. We talk about road fatalities. Slow down. Just slow down. Lessons we can learn. Slow down. The potholes are there. I mean, they have a whole damn email for potholes.gov.bm. We know that they're. So instead of continuing what we do, change our behaviors.
Again, and it's the accountability. A lot of times things happen because we can't interrupt the moment, and people need to interrupt the moment when they want to put on the gas, they want to overtake, they need something. You need to interrupt that and say, hey, let me be safe. And I think if everyone took that on, then we can see a shift and a change, but it starts with you.
Agreed, sure. Folks, what can we learn from the first half of 2023? Charles H. Jefferson II says, I've learned that Bermudians are still leaving in droves and looking to leave, and it doesn't appear that our government cares. Well, Brother Charles, you told no lie. You haven't told a lie. I'm wondering, is it that they don't care or that they lack the competency to do anything about
it? I would say for some of the people that are leaving in droves right now, it has a lot to do with the education system that is being implemented, especially for children who are about to enter into the education system. In my experience, or the people that I am in contact with, they're leaving because that's about to happen.
People want what's best for their children.
Yeah. And if you look at what the community has tried to do and has been met with, a brick wall, then what do you expect people to do? It's almost like you're forcing people to leave and then looking at people when they leave like, oh my goodness, why would you do that?
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
ever heard about the child that gets pinched and then the person is like, oh, I'm so sorry, or goes to try to help you feel better, but you're the one that pinched us?
yeah, yeah. You said
That's what it feels like.
Mark Arthur C. Phillips says the negative from the first half of 2023 is mass exodus. Again, in line with what Charles is saying. The positive, I can't think of right now. It's interesting. Can't think of a positive. Tanya Cheeseman says Bermuda being a host in the athletic arena. I know we had the event again at the BTA, the track event, which I love that. We've got some golf coming up later this year, I think, or sailing. I can't keep up, but there's all positives. There's the things that should boost our economy. Another positive is the Bermuda Carnival weekend.
Yes.
Seemed to be a big boost. People were in hotels, people out in restaurants. But look, all of that said, man, I just there's never going to be a perfect life. And I think we would be only making ourselves miserable if that's what we're searching for. But it doesn't have to be, all bad. It doesn't have to be, to a point where we wake up and we don't want to go to work or go out and socialize and so on. Sherry mentioned people leaving because of the education system. There are people leaving because they can't find jobs. They can't
That
support their
too.
families. There are people leaving because they can't get good health insurance, right? They just don't trust that the economy is going to give them what they need, or that they can get what they need out of the economy, out of the society and the community, to give themselves and their families the best chance to live, not survive, but live. I think we're in a bad spot with that. But it's not all doom and gloom, because there are people out there putting smiles on our faces and helping in that space. I mentioned Bacardi because like one particular thing that they're doing, it really stands out. You all know, I think that many of these companies do these charitable acts that really are to benefit them more than the people that they say they're supposed to benefit. But what Bacardi did was actually not charity, it was community. Bacardi
Mhm.
ran out and created opportunities so that people could create opportunities for themselves. I love that. That's a positive. Would love to see
Let's.
more of that. And then we've got the Athene having the first career life expo, they believe it was.
Mhm.
Again, creating opportunities for people. So I think that we're on the right track in that.
I was going to say, and let's not forget Black Golfers Week, the PGA. That
Mm,
was awesome, and you did mention the track and field already. So
yeah,
yeah, we did have some great sporting
yeah.
situation and events this year. Well, thus far.
Mark Phillips says the next election will be very interesting with the max exodus. Sherry, Charles H. Jefferson II says, Sherry is right about many leaving with their kids. My question is, how many of those kids will we get back? Rain. I doubt they'll come back. I know people whose children don't even associate themselves with being Bermudian anymore, which is sad. Kenton Trot says the positive is that many Bermudians are still trying. Young people are still opening businesses. People are still hosting events such as Carnival. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And Sam Cat Play says Bermudians want to try, but the government needs to change. There you go. We'll wrap it up with that. But let's bring Maya in. Wonder what she thinks some of the positives we can take from the first half of 2023 are. See what she's got in the news break. And folks, don't forget Eugene Dean coming up. And like I said, having a conversation. Eugene's coming from Greenrock today. We want to talk about energy efficiency, what exactly it is, but about access to it. Do people from lower income areas have the same access to it? I think there's a water situation in Bermuda where if you live in certain areas, you get certain water. Like is it Watkinson or something like that? I can't recall
Mhm.
the wrong name, but not everyone has access to that situation. One more quick thing, KBB. This was a highlight for our year. I enjoy having Tracy on monthly, understanding the amount of trash that they're picking up in pounds. We've got to do better. So thank you for that,
Yeah.
Mom. Let's bring Maya in before Sherry gets in trouble. And yeah, stick with us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, Madame. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
Well, that is wonderful. So we've had this, and I know sometimes I may feel you like you're the Debbie Downer bringing us the real news, which you're not. Let me just say you are not. But when you look at the first half of 2023, what stands out from for you, both as a journalist and as a person, as a Bermudian?
Well, as a journalist, I mean, it's got to be all the road fatalities and the serious road incidents. It's obviously a big interest of mine to figure out like why and like how is it happening and where is it happening, who's it happening to. So that's always a big like key point that I look out for. So that's got to be a big thing for me for the beginning of this year. Other than that I would also touch on something that Shari mentioned was just like the younger generation really like making their presence known and showing that, you know, we ain't got to wait for government to do things for us to do it. Like, big shout out to Bermuda is Love. They do a lot when it comes to sustainable fashion, when it comes to giving back free clothing, when it comes to a lot of charity work or helping out different organizations on the island and getting their names out there, you know, and just saying we can show up, we can help each other. We don't have to wait for anyone else to like do this. It's our not even just our right, but it's our duty to help each other, like on such a small island. So big up to Bermuda's Love, future leaders as well, and again Bermuda Youth Connect. And now we've got long tail learning, who's helping the next generation when it comes to, you know, education, finding their schools and things that we needed when we were younger, and now realizing we could help each other now that we know it. So really big up to the younger generation. Like I am just proud and excited to see that. So I guess those would be my two.
Yeah, I like that, Maya, because I think it goes back to the comment someone said that, you know, young people are still, you know, people are still trying, and that's what it's going to take. Just keep pushing. Let's just read these comments real quickly before you get into the news break. Christina Hollis says, negative, grocery prices keep climbing. Positive, more people growing their own food. It's more nutritious, very fulfilling, and does make a difference in the grocery bills. I like that. That is a positive, turning a negative into a positive. And Renee Simmons says, I've always said for years since the first Exodus that the way government was pushing everything to IB, they always wanted Bermuda for a rich man's paradise. It backfired as more left than they expected. Interesting perspective. And Bermuda can't be a one-trick pony. News break, madam.
Well, starting out this news break this morning, this press release came to me yesterday after our news break, so I'm so sorry not to get it up to you guys yesterday, but there's a new community called PAGE, or Parents Advocacy Group for Education. Now, it has been established to become a voice for parents and concerned community members on educational practices in Bermuda. The new group is seeking to pause in aspects of primary education reform, while they also work to increase parent engagement with the public education reform generally and advocate for processes that prioritize developing community and public support around reform. PAGE is the result of a community meeting that was held on April 27th at the Cathedral Hall. You may recall that I did a recap of it here on the show. Now, that saw approximately 80 community members attended out of concern for the current condition of primary public education reform. The group says feedback from the April 27th public meeting was collected by volunteers who have continued to meet over the past 2 months. The PAGE team wishes to ensure that as many voices as possible are involved in the development of its position and strategy, and inviting further feedback before proposing the next steps. The concerns they listed out were in different 5 categories. Number 1 is concerns about inadequate governance, consulting, authentic shared decision-making and collaboration. Number 2 is no confidence in leadership. Number 3 is a lack of confidence in project planning and concerns about lack details regarding budget and school design, and reform is too aggressive. Number 4 being the disruption is not sufficiently mitigated and immediately follows the pandemic. Concerns that some student individuals' needs are being sacrificed and that disruption generally is concerned collateral damage. And number 5, insufficient focus on curriculum and how to improve teaching and learning, the concerns regarding lack of programs for ASD groups and other special needs. Now, the community members, they say, can offer their feedback up until July 7th. Now, that email there on the screen is for stakeholders, but I will drop the link to the actual website where they are asking for feedback in the comments on the section here. So just give me 1 second and I'll do that immediately for anyone who wants to see or go to the page.
What I like about this is it seems like, just think about what Sherry was saying earlier, parents taking their children because of education, right? I don't think we need to ask why a group like this is necessary at this. And I think, all of what Maya just shared actually highlights almost every area of why it's necessary. I'm interested to see how they move forward, the progress they make, and the difference they make in improving the education space.
I did reach out because yesterday you would have heard me report about the Eastern Alliance, the Eastern School Alliance, and I'm wondering if the two groups are connected to each other or if it's been renamed. So I'll confirm that with you once they respond to the email I sent this morning.
Okay. Cool.
So coming up next in the news, the police actually reported just a little statement saying that traffic codes coming from Bermuda Police Service, before you stop or slow down or change direction, give the appropriate signal. There are many people who sometimes forget that an indicator indicates where you're going. So they say clearly, so give the signal clear and in good time. After using a vehicle's indicator, turn them off. The BPS says this simple action can help reduce the number of collisions on our road.
That would be nice, because you're always going behind somebody like, are they about to turn? Are they about to turn? If they didn't turn off the indicators, so yeah, let's use them.
Always remember, keep that 2-car distance, because again, you never know. Some people do forget to put on those indicators. Coming up next in the news, economic investment and residual certificates policy, they say, from the government continues to benefit Bermuda's economy. Bringing up the stats here that they had sent this morning. The Minister of Economy and Labor, Jason Hayward, says, I'm proud to advise that the economic investment and residential certificate policy continues to benefit Bermuda's economy by helping to support continued academic activity. He says that the objective of the EIRC is to fully harness immigration as one of the many tools for creating economic growth for Bermuda. So said, so done, as thus far, the EIRC program has brought about significant economic activity and helped market Bermuda as a place to reside and do business. He says the ministry can advise that as of the 20th of June, the EIRC policy has resulted in a total associate investment of $425.5 million, as you see up there on the screen, as the type of investment amount, number of EIRC residential certificate holders, and number of approved EIRC applications, and the total at the bottom there being the figure that he just mentioned. He also said, which includes a $164.8 million in real estate investment, which is the largest amount of investment.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Let's take this opportunity to move on, Maya.
All right, moving on. The City of Hamilton wants you to know that the parking swipe cards are updated for July 1st start. So they're advising the public that the malfunction with the swipe card system for entry and exit into the long-term city parking lot of Bulls Head, Parlerville, and Elliott Street has been rectified, and swipe cards have been updated to accommodate a July 1st start. So those permit holders that paid for a permit in any of these lots for the month of June and were not able to access the parks will have their payment rolled over to July.
Okay.
Closing out the news, yesterday you would have heard me report about Clearwater Middle School's performance of the history of Mary Prince. I have a short clip here as they posted the full clip on the, I believe it's the Department of Culture on the YouTube page. But here's a short segment of the students performing the Mary Prince.
As I stood there, I heard that I fetched a great sum for a young slave.
When the sale was over, Mary's mother hugged and kissed them and mourned over them. She begged them to keep a good heart and to do their chores well for their new masters.
Mary Prince was sold to Captain Ingham, who lived at Spanish Point.
As I traveled with my new master, everywhere looked strange. My heart was aching and I was thinking, will I ever get to see my mom again?
Mary's heart was broken and she grieved silently. That night she reached her new home. The house was large and built at the bottom of a very high hill, but she could not see much of it that night.
Upon entering the Igum's home, Mary stood in the corner crying. Mistress Igum then walked over to Mary and yanked off her head wrap.
You do not come in here to stand up in corners and cry. You come here to work.
That young lady's a great actress.
Middle school, Clearwater Middle School. So if you want to watch the full thing, again, it's a middle culture page on YouTube.
Yeah, good actress. But reenactments always take me. I don't think it's healthy for me to watch that stuff.
No.
Credit to me personally. I just know me. But congratulations to them learning about Mary Prince, because when I was that age, I didn't know anything about Mary Prince. So, props to the school for making those changes.
Definitely worth taking the Kristen White tour up in St. George. So I just highly recommend it. I learned a lot on that tour. If anyone would take that tour, then do so. So today's weather is looking like sunny periods with a few showers. I know yesterday was so rainy in the island. So yeah, sunny periods with a few showers likely, especially earlier. Looking at some strong gusts though and showers again, maybe later in the afternoon. So again, keep your rain suits, be very careful on the road, keep that long distance away from other traffics so you know when you need to stop or if they stop too short. And we have a high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Rain, okay. Sherry, what you got days of the year? It's not National Rain Day, is it?
No, but first there was the telephone, then the fax machine, and then social media, a revolutionary way of communicating. Since its creation, people have been able to connect with each other like never before. Friends and family can connect in any moment, and marketers have been able to reach consumers in an entirely new fashion. In fact, people use social media more than for an average of 144 minutes every single day. And because of the impact over the years, Social Media Day was born on this day, June 30th, and has continued to grow popular ever since. So please use social media responsibly, please.
So it's Social Media Day?
It's Social Media Day.
Happy Social Media Day. Audience, let us know what your favorite social media platform is. What's your favorite social media platform, Maya?
Gotta go with TikTok.
Okay.
Gotta go with TikTok.
How about you, Sherry?
I'm spread over. Instagram is one of my favorites thus far. Yeah, just Instagram. I haven't gotten into TikTok. Twitter's so
Get into
fast.
TikTok. When I tell you it gives you so much information.
TikTok is like the video version of Twitter for me. Like it's like you literally can learn so much on TikTok.
Okay.
I like to read, so I would do Twitter. But obviously you all know what my favorite platform is. But audience, let us know what your favorite platform is. We'd like to know. Maya, thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
You too. Have a great conversation, guys.
All right, thanks much. Folks, don't go anywhere. Eugene Dean coming up. It's Greenrock Day. We're talking about energy efficiency, but let us know in the meantime what your favorite social media application is. I guarantee you majority of them is probably gonna say, what do you think they're gonna say?
Twitter.
I think they're gonna say Facebook or Instagram, but I'll go with Instagram.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels. Yeah, social media days to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Sherry, you said Instagram, right?
As my favorite. And then I said for the audience, I think they would say Twitter.
Okay, well, let's go to the audience. We said 1, but Mark Arthur C. Phillips blessed us with 3. Twitter, Facebook, and IG. Canton Trot says Twitter. Karen Simmons, Instagram and Facebook. Tanya Cheeseman says Instagram. Renee Simmons says old school Facebook, TikTok, never got into Twitter. And Pinterest says Sean Smith, it's my vision board. So let us know, audience. Let's bring in our guest for today. Give a warm TDH welcome to our guest. He's been on a number of times, probably the most versatile guest we've actually ever had, because he has those kind of talents. And Sherry seems to love his skin. Eugene, folks. Morning, brother.
Greetings. How you doing?
Hi, Eugene. Yeah, I do. You know, it's just something about it. Maybe it's sustainable. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Eugene, welcome back, man. Welcome back. How's things going?
Yeah, good. Give thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of activity going on this time of year, summer. You know, so I heard you talking about the different things I'm involved in. Well, this time of year is like everything's happening. You know, it's all happening at once. So
yeah. You got to be a talented person to be able to do what you do. But just speak to the audience. Tell us a bit about Greenrock, those who may not know Greenrock, and what the organization's purpose actually is.
Yeah, well, at Greenrock, we're an local environmental charity. We focus on sustainability, sustainable living. Our mantra is changing mindsets. We just recognize that, you know, we need to change the way we look at things and how we develop things. We've developed without conscience for years, and now we have a lot of social and environmental challenges that we're facing as a result of that. So we can get into more acting rather than reacting, then we need to consider social and environmental impacts as we develop enterprise or develop initiatives, you know, because at the moment, a lot of the people who have caused major environmental and social issues whilst making huge profits don't end up being responsible for cleaning up the messes that they make, you know. Recently, we've put a lot of focus on energy. We were heavily involved in the energy IRP in 2018, 2019, which came out in a very positive fashion. We set a target of 85% renewables by 2035. So that's something that we were very happy about, particularly when the utilities proposal at the time would have kept us at 90% fossil fuels over the next 20 years. So that was a good turnout. And now we're engaged in trying to accelerate action, you know, because it's one thing to say you set a target, is a whole nother thing to actually achieve it, you know. So we got a bit concerned because we weren't seeing a lot of action going on. And now we feel like we're in a good space. We embarked upon this offshore wind feasibility study series, and now the RA is doing feasibility studies on offshore wind. Belco is now having to update their IRP, or integrated resource plan. And we just met with them last week, and they're looking into renewables and offshore wind. So it's a positive time right now.
Yeah, I want to go back. You said something that really piqued my interest: developing without conscience, right? Look, we know, especially in capitalist societies, that, you know, and it makes me sick, because someone said the other day it was a food company, they were donating to a charity, and the charity may have been a cancer charity or something. They were like, the irony that what you sell contributes to the illness, right? I say that because, we speak about development without a conscience. Now, in capitalist environments, you see that the people who are creating the, climate issues are the same ones who will probably be out funding, climate charities. So it's like, okay.
Greenwashing. They call it greenwashing.
Okay, right. So like when you think about stuff like that, when you consider the development without conscience, how much work is the community going to have to do to really bring about this change? Because yes, organizations like Greenrock are necessary and helpful, right? But even having this conversation, the job is to educate the community, because you mentioned fossil fuels being energy efficient. It's almost like it seems like it'll go up through one ear and out the other.
Right.
And then it's this political thing. But speak to us about, what energy efficiency is, renewable energy, and why we should care.
Right. Yeah, so I guess the challenge is, right, these are things that we don't have to do, right? So we wake up and all of us have our priorities in terms of things that are like critical that we need to actually do. And so the challenge becomes is that if you're under pressure from your everyday living, that you have these targets you have to reach to live, to keep a roof over your head, to feed your family, to clothe your family and things of that nature, then you tend to have like a lot less time to explore things that actually impact others, or beyond just your own, the scope of yourself and your immediate family, And so the challenge is that we've now over years evolved or been conditioned into behaviors that are completely unsustainable, So for example, when you think about just the whole concept of takeout, right, and how much waste it creates. Now, years ago, you might pop into a diner, order a cup of coffee, drink the cup of coffee, and then go off to work. Right? That cup you drank from and the spoon you use gets washed and reused. Now you pop in a place and you walk out with a disposable cup and you throw that away. Now you're doing that as an individual. You're not thinking, you're saying, okay, I just threw away a cup. But if you do that every day for a year, how many cups is that? And if you multiply that by the amount of people who are also doing that in your country, how many cups is that? And the numbers get alarming for Bermuda. So imagine a place like America, and then you go all through Europe, and then you say, well, this is happening in all over the developed world. So then when you look into the gyres, right? So we have 5 gyres. That's where like the oceans meet. And you know how like it is down in flats. You have kind of like that constant current that's going around. So where the oceans meet, you have these currents. Well, they're all garbage patches now, right? And the gyres are like bigger than countries. The trash patches at the gyres, it's one that's like, multiple times the size of France, for example. So these are the types of issues that I'm saying we've developed we've caused by developing without conscience. But are the companies that made all the waste that's in the water responsible for cleaning it up? No. Governments are, which means people are, which means we're impacted financially, but then we're also impacted because now the waste is in our food supply, because how many people eat fish? And now we're getting to a point where it's almost more waste in the water than actually plankton or food in the water. So now when you eat fish, your fish has got plastic in it. And then on top of that, the products you use at home have microplastics in it, like your lotions and your body scrubs and your things of that nature. Now, nobody's coming out and saying, hey, alarm bells, it's plastic and everything, and we've become accustomed to drinking water out of plastic bottles.
Yeah.
But who's talking about the chemicals that leach into the water and how that depresses our immune system and causes all types of neurological problems in our bodies and stuff like that, let alone the waste that's caused by all the plastic bottles that we throw in the trash. And where does that go? So what I'm saying is that the problems are endless at this point. I could talk the whole time just going through the list of problems, right? And the problems have come because of we've evolved or been conditioned into behaviors that are not sustainable. So we have to now find a way of reversing that. Like imagine life without takeout. How do we get to that point where we don't have trash from takeout? That's like a real challenge. But see, the good thing about challenges, right, right? Business opportunities are when you find a problem and you create a solution. That's a business. So this is where the opportunity side comes in. So we can look at all the problems and say, okay, it's depressing, or we can see all these things as real, tangible opportunities that we can engage, you know, to improve the state of the world, you know, and our quality of life. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jerry.
And well, you was just speaking about water, and you talk about plastic bottles. Tell the audience just a little bit, like, because we often go straight to, we're going to take our water bottles, you know, our reusable water bottles and stuff.
Right.
Is that just as bad as plastic, or glass is always better? Very, very short comment on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything reusable is better because most of the challenges come from disposable. You know what I mean? But then, yes, obviously you can look at, when you're using plastics, you have to be careful, because a lot of the plastics are designed to be used once, and those are the ones where like the chemicals and stuff leach out. Other plastics are designed differently and are a bit safer to use, but glass and things of that is always healthier.
Yeah, because you know I'll be running out to get my glass bottle right now. But what are some of the Greenrock's policy recommendations for Bermuda as far as being more energy efficient?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do to be energy efficient. One thing is that when we're purchasing appliances, to consider price and running costs, you know, and it's summertime now, so people are going out and buying air conditioners. And you might look at one air conditioner that might be $1,800 and another air conditioner might be $1,100. But if you're not looking into efficiency, you may not realize that in 3 or 4 months, you know, it's cost you maybe $400 more to run that $1,100 air conditioner than the $1,800 air conditioner. You know what I mean? Which means that in less than a year, you've saved that additional money that you spent on the initial purchase price. But how many people are looking at energy efficiency when they buy versus just looking at price? So that's the first thing to consider. I think people are pretty aware of LED lights now, and how like 80% of, you know, the incandescent bulbs just turns into heat. You know, so we always make a joke and said if aliens came and talked to us, they'd be like, "Why are you using heaters for lights?" You know, so LED lights save you a ton of money when you swap out your lights in your house. So if you haven't done that yet, then that's a really important thing. The other thing is getting energy assessments done. So obviously it's this whole movement towards renewable energy. A lot of people are switching over to solar. Those who can afford it, it's generally a benefit like right away, especially if you're a household that uses a lot of energy. From the time that system's turned on, you start saving money. So as long as you can afford it, it's a direct benefit. But generally, before getting solar, what you want to do is get kind of like an energy audit done at your house, where somebody's able to come in and actually tell you like what are the things that are drawing the most energy in your house. And sometimes when people get that energy audit done, right, they're able to save so much money by just making simple changes that they don't even need to get solar anymore because they already bought the bill down. So just understanding, I know a lot of people look at the bill. Why is my bill $400 and something? What is it? It could be one pump. It could be one freezer. It could be a towel heaters that you're using in your house that just stay on all day unnecessarily. You know, it could be cell phone chargers or different devices that have everything's got an LED light on the front of it. You're not using it all day. You're not home. Turn the whole power bar off. And shut everything down. Like it's a lot of simple things that we can do.
You think about it, most people don't do that. Like most of us will leave our stuff plugged in throughout the day.
Everything is on.
It's just habit, right? It's like, but I wonder if we can challenge one another today, like audience, like just remember to unplug. You're going to work all day. Unplug everything except the refrigerator, like the stuff you need, and just see how much of a difference that makes just doing it for like a week.
And honestly, Jamal, I tend to do that when I wake up in the morning. I turn off my AC because the house is already cool. I unplug certain things, and especially if I'm working from home. So I try. I try.
I have a gentleman, right? It's so funny. He stops me on the road all the time. He says, Dean, hey, I unplug everything when I leave home, even the fridge.
Oh, bro, not me.
Sir.
So his bill is real low, and he's always bragging to me about how his bill is so low. But let me give you an example, because I think commercial applications, and if you'll notice, right, most commercial businesses are all buying solar because they use energy during the day. So just to be clear, most people are spending between 40 something and 50 something cents a kilowatt hour, right, on the Belco bill, right? With solar, you're probably spending between 9 and 12 cents a kilowatt hour when you're generating that energy on your solar panels and using it right away. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm saying it's a huge benefit, and commercial places are open using energy when the sun's out, which means as the energy comes in, they're using it one time.
And as you're talking about energy, Eugene, tell us about the Better Energy Plan and what it means for Bermuda.
What it means for Bermuda. Well, the Bermuda Better Energy Plan was something that was developed in 2018. I was talking about the Integrated Resource Plan. And basically, that was when the RA went out to utility and said, listen, we need you to submit a plan to say how we're going to be generating and distributing energy for the next 20 years. So the plan that the utility came back with, they were initially looking at building a LNG facility on the island and switching to liquefied natural gas. They had included, basically, it was like $120-something million regasification plant that they were going to have to build. It was a big to-do. We had major concerns about investing in more fossil fuels when renewable energy has become so prevalent all around the world, and the technology is tried and tested and really growing exponentially globally. So the Bermuda Better Energy Plan was the alternative to proposal to what the utility had submitted. And as a result of that proposal, we ended up with the RA making a decision not to allow LNG as a fuel in Bermuda. So no more investment into fossil fuels over and beyond what we already have, and really pushing a high target for investment and deployment of renewable energy in the country. So as a result of that proposal, we now as a country are focused on renewable energy versus being stuck into fossil fuels, which pretty much would have had us in last place in the whole Caribbean region when we look at what our counterparts are doing in other islands. So that was a real positive back then, in 2018, 2019.
I just want to go to the audience. Diane White said, so true, unplugged and brought my bill from $800 to $300.
You see what I mean? I'm telling you, it's huge.
I'm stuck on $800 used to be rent prices in a lot of places. I mean, that's insane. But again, it works. This is an example, folks. And honestly, let's do it today. Let's try to unplug. Let's see how much we can save. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, I went to a local retailer and I saw nothing but LED lights.
Right.
I've got a question, Eugene. Who is the best resource to find out about solar panels?
Well, you have some options now, right? So I guess B Solar has been a company that's been really good, focused on, I guess, residential installations. Sunnyside Solar is a new company, is really actually a nonprofit. So they kind of work with you. They can bring in solar panels for you at a real low cost. You could actually install them yourself, or they can hire local installers for you to help you with the installation. So that's more like a do-it-yourself option. Then you have Bermuda Alternate Energy. They do residential and commercial. Greenlight Energy is a newer company that's come on the scene in the past few years, focused again on residential and commercial. And then you have Alternative Energy Systems. They do a lot of commercial installs, but also some residential as well. And Atlantic Energy Solutions Group is the last one I mentioned. If you haven't seen the solar carport at the National Stadium, apparently it's the biggest structure in the whole Caribbean of that nature. So it's pretty impressive. They have 3 energy systems connected in it. So the renewable energy industry has grown exponentially over the past few years. Business is really booming. And like I said, for anyone who can afford to shift to solar, we got a lot of sun in Bermuda, and the way the industry has developed is proof that people are really benefiting from it.
Well, you mentioned afford, and I want to touch on this. I mentioned, I believe it was water to water earlier, like access to water and so on. When we think about energy efficiency outside of just us unplugging things, is this kind of stuff accessible to, you know, lower income homes? Is it accessible to everyone?
Right. Well, at the moment, I'll say with Sunnyside Solar, that's been like a game changer because they have brought the price down a lot, and giving people an option. Now, obviously, you got to be willing to work with them to get it done, but you can get access to getting a solar system on your house at a relatively low cost. Now, the government did some really good things. They had a rebate program, and depending on the ARV of your house, you could get up to $8,000 of a rebate off a solar installation. Now, I don't think they're doing it anymore, but for the time that they were doing, it was a real value. For some people, like that $8,000 was about half the cost of their system. So it had a real impact, and a lot of people took advantage of that. It's just unfortunately, a lot of people didn't really know about that. So these are some of the things that we try to be raising awareness about for people. Now, there are some things that are a bit challenging. Initially, when solar was introduced, it was kind of like traded to Balco at net, meaning that, you know, if you any excess energy that you generate on your own solar system goes into the Balco grid, and then Balco, you know, sells that with all the other energy that they're generating, right? So initially, it was like if you used 30 kilowatt hours and you generated 10, you would pay for 20. But that changed. So now the cost is 22 cents a kilowatt hour. So whatever you send in the grid, you get 22 cents for. But when you buy it back from Balco, like I said, depending on how much energy you use, you're paying somewhere between 40 something and 50 something cents a kilowatt hour. So initially that became like a real deterrent, but I think the industry's kind of adjusted to it and now it's picked up speed again. The other thing is that the facilities charges, and that's something that comes from the regulatory authority. If you're a heavy energy user, your facilities charge can be upwards of like $108 a month. If you're a low energy user, it could be as low as 23 cents a month. Well, what they've done, they've made the facilities charge for solar fixed at $45. So it's like if you're a low energy user, you get penalized. And if you're a heavy energy user, you benefit, like you save like about $750 something a year. Now, what's interesting about that is those people generally, they wouldn't mind. They have the money to keep paying what they were paying before. You know what I mean? So our thing is like, why are we penalizing low energy users? And giving benefit to the people who have more money. So anyway, that's something we've gone to the RA about, and they're looking into it, but it's something that needs to be addressed.
Interesting. Just got some more questions in. Tanya Cheeseman's asking, is it worth buying a waterless water heater?
Yes, I've seen a lot of those. Some people in my family have that as well. And they kind of like, as the water comes through, it heats it instantaneously. Because what happens with a traditional water heater is like having like a full tub of water, and then you have to heat it up. And then if nobody uses it, it cools down. And then the heater kicks back in and you heat it back up. So you're constantly heating up water, waiting for it to be used. Whereas the waterless ones, like it just heats the water as it passes through. So it's definitely a lot more efficient.
I like that.
Good, sure.
Okay. How can the community get in contact with you for more information and on how they can help make a difference in this space?
Yeah, they can contact. Our website is greenrock.org. Email is info@greenrock.org as well. So if people can just send us an email or go to our website and send us a message. You can sign up as a member. It's $25. Get involved in the programs that we're doing. Get our newsletters, keep up to date with what's going on. We're always happy to work with people, and we're always trying to like build our membership, because the more people we have that are shifting and living more sustainably, then the more other people would change from their example, so that's a big thing.
All right, Eugene, thank you so much. How can people contact Greenrock? Can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even mention that as well. We also have, Facebook and Instagram, so people can follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages as well, in addition to our website. So
Yeah,
yes,
because it is social media based, Sherry.
yeah.
And what's your platform, Eugene? What's your platform?
It's interesting. I actually most of the time I'm on social media is just to post stuff for like Greenrock and things of that nature. So I probably use Facebook the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Telling your age.
Again, thanks so much for this. Again, man of many hats. You'll see him throughout the summer doing different things. He's got the talent, but thank you for always making time for us. Keep the information flowing. As we're talking about energy efficiency, my hope is that this audience is a great audience. They take information, they use the information to live better and be better. So let's see, folks. Let's start July 1st. Let's start unplugging stuff and let's report back to see, share how much we've saved on our next bill. That's if, well, maybe that company you pay your bills to don't try to, sabotage you. But anyway, thanks so much. Have a good one, brother.
All right. Peace and love.
Bye, Eugene.
Folks, if you appreciated the conversation with Eugene Dean, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Don't go anywhere. Please stick with us. We've got the Daily Play coming up as well, and we'll wrap it up. Daily Play. I don't think I have a question yet. Let me check. Well,
If you haven't been to ER Fisheries in a while, it's time to hop in the car, drive east, and come check out what we have to offer. ER Fisheries and Foods is a Bermuda-based food company that sells a variety of food products to local customers. We are of course known for high-quality food items, including specialty meats and seafood, but we offer so much more. We have evolved from a small community-driven ordering window to a modern freezer front with easily accessible products. Our newly revamped store offers customers a top-tier shopping experience, and we also offer delivery. Regardless of your preferences or diet, we have something for everyone, including chicken, many varieties of seafood, pork, lamb, beef, plant-based items, fruit and veggies, bread, dairy, and grocery items. So come check us out for your specialty grocery needs. ER Fisheries is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at 134 Marginal Wharf, Southside St. David's.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Eugene Dean from Greenrock, folks. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
Sure, Jamal.
Sherry, it's the things you should know. You ready for things you should know? Why you sound so down, Sherry?
Come on, Jamal. Let's go.
All right, let's hop out, folks. Here we go. All right, question is, what French phrase means ordering separate items from a menu and not a set meal at a restaurant?
Okay, a la carte.
All right, she got a la carte. Because I was like, her face was messing up, like,
well,
French thing.
I was like, where we're going with French, so yeah.
You got it pretty fast.
I did. I use that word actually quite a bit.
A la carte?
Like when I was flying a certain airline, I said, you purchase everything kind of a la carte. That's like, yeah.
So you like, you don't, oh, here we go. I gave a hint.
You heard you give me a hint, Jamal. Didn't you read the question?
He said French.
Okay.
Anyway, let's wrap it up. First half of the year, and then Eugene Dean and Greenrock. What's up?
The first half of the year, as we mentioned, some things to learn from the first half of the year, positive things. A lot of what the Bermuda youth are doing today has been really, really great. So hats off to our youth for making changes or making things become more aware. So I appreciate that. As far as things we need to work on, the road fatalities and just being more conscious of our riding. I love having Eugene on. I'm going to be very honest. I'm glad we're on here not talking about COVID and something a little bit different. So, being able to develop with a conscience, being more aware of what's in our waters, being sustainable. Eugene comes with a wealth of knowledge, and Greenrock seems to be, an organization that we should be more aware of. So I employ people to go check it out. And Mama P's just jumped on here, so I got to say happy anniversary to her again, because I know she heard me this morning. Happy anniversary to my mom and my stepdad, Jim Patterson.
Happy anniversary to them. I just want to say this, as far as the first half of the year, it definitely were some positives. Again, young people doing some good things. Bermuda is love. Bermuda Youth Connect, long tail learning, future leaders in Bermuda. Look, if you don't feel that like older people are doing what needs to be done for you, you got to go out and do it for yourself. Day-age minors, the BTA events, Carnival. There's a lot of positives, but obviously there's the negative side, and we have to look at how we can turn those negatives into positives. Here's my thing, and it's what I would challenge Bermudians to do. We've had 10 road fatalities in 2023. We had 11 in total 2022. Let's end it at 10. That's going to require all of us to be cautious, considerate, and courteous. Slow down. As far as Eugene, energy efficiency. I mean, I always say the price of groceries may go up, price of electricity, mortgages, a lot of stuff, it may go up. But we have to ask ourselves, what changes can we make? What can we do to ease the burden that comes with that? And there are things we can do. Someone earlier said groceries went up, they started growing their own food. Eugene said, try unplugging stuff. There are things within us all that we can do to make our lives better. Sometimes we just have to stop looking outside of ourselves. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. The daily inspiration is being brought to you by Fisheries. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. So get up and move. And that's by Will Rogers. He's an actor and a humorous social commentator.
Actually, I like that one. Seriously, that's a good one. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyr.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you on Monday. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.